Hello crafty friends, I'm Lynn from Studio Kato. So happy you're here today because we have a new release from Reverse Confetti and it's a stunning one. Now I only got my product a couple days ago, so I was only able to make one card. There are amazing stamp sets in this release as well, so make sure you check out the full release using the link in my description. Now I am making a really quick background with the Reverse Confetti Deco cover panel die. It's a new die from this new release. And it's stunning. I love the detail that gets pressed into the paper with this die. Makes for a quick background, but stunning. I am using the Flower Builder die set by Reverse Confetti as well to make a focal point on this background. But first I'm going to adhere this down. Now the Flower Builder die set is really fun and playful, and it's by far my favorite of this release. I just love how innovative it is. It only cuts half of the flower, and that sounds like a dumb thing to do, but you can put both halves together, so you create a full view of a top-down flower, but you can use one of the halves or even layer them up. And that creates one of those standing up cone flowers. You have different centers for the ones that are standing up and the ones you get a top-down view of. So it's just really, really thought through, and I love die sets like this. So I cut all of the flowers. I used 3 colors. They come in 2 sizes. And I cut all of them twice out of the same cardstock. For the flowers that I'm layering up, I added some ink blending to the layer that is going to the behind the first layer. And I just added some glue in between. I did cut off one of the petals, just to make it look a little bit more natural and a little less full. And yeah, it's really, really easy to put these together. You can pretty much do whatever you want with these. They're a really playful style, so you can do whatever your imagination tells you. As I said, for the smaller flowers, I am creating those standing up flowers or the side view of the flowers, and I'm layering them up to make them a little bit more full, and I'm using the small center for the side view. So like I said, you have a different center for the side view and for the top-down view, but because there are 2 different sizes of flowers, you also need 2 different sizes of centers if you're going to use the side view. So I used the smaller one for the small flowers, and then I used the top-down center for the large flower. I assembled all of my flowers before putting them on the card. It's a lot easier to handle them that way. And this set also comes with a leaf, so I die-cut that from some green cardstock as well. And I'm just trying to figure out my arrangement here. I'm not gluing anything down yet. Now, once I'm ready with that, I can start gluing things down, and I start with the leaves. I check with my flowers to see if they're adhered down well, and then I prop the flowers up on some foam tape. I love to use a lot of dimension in my cards. And foam tape is great for that, obviously. And I always use foam tape and not foam squares because it's just more economical for me. And if you fold the foam tape over, so you have 2 layers of foam tape, it's really easy to cut. You get more dimension because you have 2 layers, and that basically replaces my foam squares. And once everything is adhered down, I loved the colors and how everything looked, but I thought it could do with some highlights, especially that large blue flower. It's a little dark and it's not plain because it has all of those cut lines in the petals. I love those, but I thought it could use a little bit of highlights. Usually I do that with ink blending to make one area darker. I didn't do that for the larger flower because the paper was already quite dark, so I thought I'd just add some white highlights with a gel pen, and that is really, really easy to do, and it's just a little touch of something extra that brings the flower to life. Have I mentioned how much I love this die set? Because I love cone flowers. These kind of look like cone flowers, but I also really, really like in card making, especially for floral cards, just a more playful style. I think a lot of flowers for card making are quite classical and quite elegant, and sometimes you just want a little bit more of a whimsy in your cards, you know? So I finished up the highlights, and then I figured, why not elevate that background with a ton of sparkle? I found these Glacier Jewels by Pinkfresh Studio in my embellishment stack, and I thought these would fit perfectly with the ballet slipper cardstock that I used. The cardstock I used is from Concord 9th, except the yellow and the blue, because those were scraps that I still had laying around. But they do resemble the Buttercup cardstock and the Oceanside cardstock from Concord 9th quite well. So we adhered all of those glacier pearls down, or gems, sorry, down with some Nouveau Luxe adhesive. The dye, the background dye, the Deco cover panel dye, it cuts these slits in there, and you have arches on top of them. It's really, really fun, and I thought it would be a perfect place to place some gems. These gems fit perfectly in those areas. They're just the right size. I think they're 3 millimeters, 4 millimeters. I don't know. They're small, but they're really, really fun, especially with this cardstock, because they're a little bit pinkish, even though they're technically white. Now, the very exciting part of this release is the hot foil plates. There was actually one more hot foil set that I'm not showing in this video, sorry about that, but I hope you check it out in the link in my description. So I am using the Thank You and the Birthday Wishes hot foil plates. These are two separate sets, but they do come with the matching dies. So if you buy the hot foil plate, you'll always have the matching dies, which is really fun, because especially for sentiments, it's always fun to have the matching dies. I'm using my Spellbinders Glimmer system, and the foil I am using is also from Spellbinders. You will find the links for those in the description below as well. And where possible, I have used affiliate links, so if you purchase anything through those links, I will get a small commission, and that helps me a lot with making videos. And now the magical reveal. This is just a silver hot foil by Spellbinders. I love this, and I did do it on white cardstock because this cardstock is great for foiling. It's Clairefontaine DCP 250 GSM. Colored cardstock is always harder to foil on because it's not as smooth. Now I am getting out my trusted the Inkstand Mini again to hold that one ink cube for me. This is also the Ballet Slipper ink from Concord 9th, so it will perfectly match the background color that I used on my card, because that's the cardstock, Ballet Slipper cardstock. And they perfectly match the inks. So it's always really fun, especially for hot foiling now that I think about it, because that's why I did it. I used that Ballet Slipper cardstock for the background, and then I thought, well, it would be easier to just foil it on white cardstock and color it with the ink, because the foiling will come out better on the white, and it will still match the background perfectly. Now the die cuts the sentiment as one piece, but I didn't want to cover up that much of my flowers, so I cut them apart, and that way you can space them exactly how you want. I ended up not spacing them differently at all. I just made sure that some more of that blue flower was showing, because I love that color. So that's it. In total, even with the foiling, this card only took me 40 minutes to make, a little over half an hour. That's pretty much nothing. If I'm card making, it usually takes well over an hour. So this die set is just so much fun. I can't wait to play with this more. This is just a stunning release. I hope you check out all of the products from the Reverse Confetti release. It's a summer release, so there is a really fun summer set, stem set as well. It's just so adorable. There are dogs on the beach. What's not to love? I definitely love it. I can't wait to make some videos with it for you guys. And thank you so much for watching. I hope you like the new release as much as I do, and I hope to see you next time.